He's been an advocate of the PRO Act, which gives workers more power to organize and sets tough new penalties for companies that try to punish them. And today, the leader of that labor group that's trying to organize the Amazon warehouse down in Alabama, he thanked President Biden for his clear message of support. But the main way that the White House is trying to tackle income inequality now is by passing the COVID relief package. It's got stimulus checks to put dollars directly in people's pockets, a boost in benefits for the unemployed, and expanded tax credits for children and low-income workers. Now, Republicans argue that some of those benefits are too generous and could actually end up exacerbating income inequality. Meanwhile, progressives want President Biden to get rid of the wealth gap by passing a wealth tax.
It is a wealth tax that we particularly need because of the changes in this country under the pandemic. We have watched the wealth of the billionaire class in America increase by more than $1 trillion.
Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I hope all of you are having a great day so far. I believe that our politicians must pass this third stimulus check and send out the $1,400 and even $2,000. Because after all, we were promised a $2,000 stimulus check. The great American people need help now. If you agree with me, then leave a comment down below saying I agree. Now this is your third stimulus check update and third stimulus package update. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest news in regards to stimulus, then be sure to stay until the end of the video.
It did pass the House after 2 in the morning, but without a single Republican vote, and the package did not get every Democrat to say yes because of the scale of the spending in this package. But it is still important progress toward what could become the president's first legislative victory. A major development early this morning. The House passed the massive COVID relief package carried by Democrats' votes, with every Republican and 2 moderate Democrats opposed to the $1.9 trillion size of the package. This is a critical step forward for aid, like $1,400 direct checks and enhanced unemployment benefits. While the House included a federal minimum wage increase to $15, that is not expected to go forward in the Senate. Speaker Pelosi promises to try again.
We will not rest until we pass the $15 minimum wage.
On Friday, President Biden delivered a trust me message to build vaccine acceptance.
The vaccines are safe. I promise you, they are safe and effective.
And also don't forget to enter my free $100 Amazon gift card giveaway,
including what some Republicans are calling a long list of liberal priorities. $350 billion for state and local governments, $35 billion for subsidies to pay Obamacare premiums, $30 billion for public transit agencies, and $1 billion plus for socially disadvantaged farmers. A leading House Democrat told me he would like there to be at least some bipartisan support.
Let's come together as Republicans and Democrats and get it done. I totally agree with President Biden. I'd really like to see Republican buy-in on this.
It also includes boosting the federal minimum wage, which leading Republicans note could hurt companies already struggling during the pandemic.
The $15 minimum wage, what does that have to do with COVID relief? Those small businesses are going to have an even harder time coming back when you go to a $15 minimum wage.
In particular states, this is not COVID relief.
This Wall Street Journal op-ed breaks it all down in terms of its spending. Now, obviously, there is some spending for coronavirus and for health, as you pointed out, but there's a lot of spending that's not in this. According to the editorial, all told, the generous definition of COVID-related provisions tallies some $825 billion. The rest of the bill, more than $1 trillion, is a combination of bailouts for Democratic constituencies, expansions of progressive programs, port and unrelated policy changes. Some of the more controversial progressive wish list items are federal minimum wage of $15 an hour, $270 million in arts and humanities endowments, $200 million for museums and libraries, $50 million in family planning funding, and $112 million for Bay Area rapid transit. There's also $1.5 million for a bridge that connects the United States, New York State.
Over the last year.
Now, today, Senator Elizabeth Warren revived her call for a 2% tax on households worth $50 million or more and a 1% surtax on those worth over $1 billion. She said only 100,000 families would be affected, but it would raise over $3 trillion over the next decade. Shep, she said that's enough to pay for childcare, education, infrastructure investment, basically everything that President Biden wants.
The bill, also known as the American Rescue Plan, would increase the duration of benefits offered through temporary pandemic relief programs. Aid would end August 29th instead of March 14th this year. The bill would offer PUA recipients a maximum of 74 weeks of benefits. Benefit recipients would also get an extra $400 a week all the way to August 29th. State unemployment benefits replaced about 38% of pre-layoff wages for workers on average in the third quarter last year. The bill would also provide an extra $100 a week for certain self-employed workers. In regards to SI and SSDI, many people who are eligible for SI and SSDI may also be entitled to other Social Security benefits. In fact, the application for SI is also an application for other Social Security benefits. Social Security benefits may be paid to you and certain members of your family if you are insured, meaning you worked long enough and paid Social Security taxes. In most states, SI recipients can also get help through Medicaid and get medical assistance to pay for hospital stays, doctor bills, and other health costs. Many states also provide a supplemental payment to certain SI recipients. SI benefits are paid on the first of the month, and to get SI, you must be disabled, blind, or at least 65 years old, and have limited income and resources. SI is financed by general funds of the U.S. Treasury, personal income taxes, corporate and other taxes. That's all of the news in today's video, folks. Hopefully you guys found this video useful and helpful. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and give this video a like. Until next time, everybody, have a great day and stay safe.
This proposal before us has not been introduced as a standalone bill this Congress and has not been heard by the Natural Resources Committee. We have not discussed the impacts of elevating this trail to National Park Service unit status, and there have been no hearings to afford local officials or adjacent landowners the opportunity to express their views. Too often in this body, we see members who represent urban constituencies rushing to expand federal control over rural communities far from their own homes. And too often these decisions marginalize the voices of people in the affected communities who must live with the consequences. Federal land management agencies in Washington, D.C. imposing new limitations on access, use, and impacts to private property owners. Mr. Speaker, we have also spent much time in this body discussing the Park Service maintenance backlog, which is significant. We should be mindful of that backlog and the fact that land managers lack sufficient resources to properly care for the units already under their supervision. I am also concerned that the passage of measures like this one will further fuel the federal government's insatiable appetite to annex yet more private property, and more federal land ownership means further erosion